Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chicago Scholars Virtual College Fair. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. Just a few housekeeping items before we do get started. There's a Q&A button located at the bottom of your screen, which you can use to ask questions to our presenters at any time. If you do have a question for a specific institution, make sure to mention them within your question. Your camera and microphone are turned off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And lastly, this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. Now, without further ado, I'll turn it over to our first presenter, which is Purdue University.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen. All right, thank you all so much. I have about 6 minutes to talk to you about a lot of stuff, so I'm going to try my best to be clear and concise. My name is Janiyah Downing. I'm one of the Associate Directors of Admissions here at Purdue University, and I'm excited that you all are here, so let's get into it. If you don't know, Purdue, we're located about 2 hours south of Chicago, about an hour north of Indianapolis. So we're right in this kind of northwest corridor of the state of Indiana. We're not small. Our university has been growing. Actually, this last year, we had our record-breaking class, 10,000 plus incoming students. We're super excited about that. That's the biggest class we've ever had at our university. We kind of are pretty close to a 50-50 split, male to female. Most of our students come from the great state of Indiana, but I would like to say the Chicagoland area, that is our #1 location for out-of-state students. So you're going to see a lot of students from the Chicagoland area and all over Illinois coming down to West Lafayette. Also, we have students from all around the country and all over the world. So if you're looking for like a diverse kind of global experience, we might be the school for you. Speaking of that, we have 5 cultural centers, and I definitely want to highlight those a little bit tonight. We have 5 spaces around our campus where you can learn all about different groups of people, the food, the history, the food, the dance, the food, the important people in history, the food. There's a theme here. The food at all these spaces are amazing, and they all try their best to make you feel incredibly welcome. So starting at the top, we have our Asian American and Asian Resource and Cultural Center, the LGBTQ+ Center, Latino Cultural Center, Black Cultural Center, and Native American Educational Cultural Center. They are going to be some amazing spaces for you to learn about people from all over the world. Also, we got about 1,000 clubs and organizations you can join, whether you're interested in band, maybe you want to be in a fraternity or a sorority. We have some kind of obscure groups, like in the bottom left corner, you see a group called A Cause for Pause. Literally, they are a group of students who bring puppies and kittens to campus just so a student can walk by and be like, "Aw, a puppy." That's it. Like, that's the only thing they do. The main reason is because they just want you to be happy. They just want to work on mental health and cheer people up. College can be a little bit stressful. So if you like making people smile, that might be a great organization for you. And if you don't like any of our organizations, you can start whatever you want. We also have some great places for you to live. This is incredibly important. We do not require you to live on campus at any time. In fact, that's one thing we're kind of proud of. If you live with us, you chose to live with us. We have 17 different residence halls, and about 95% of our students decide to live on campus as incoming freshmen. We have multiple different types of amenities for different residence halls, and there's different price points. So depending on what you want, the size of room, the number of roommates you want, you might be paying a different amount to find just what you want on our campus. Now, I talked about a little bit of the fun stuff, but I'm going to shift quickly to the admissions information. If you're a rising senior or a junior, this is going to be really, really important. And even if you're a sophomore, it might not be the most important part of the presentation, but there's still some things you can kind of glean from this to help you out when you get to that application process. These are the 5 things we ask every student to send us when they apply. Common application, a few additional Purdue questions, self-reported grades and test scores. You get to control what grades and test scores we see right on the application, so you don't have to go to your counselor to get them to send a transcript. And in fact, we will be test flexible this year. So if you have access to an ACT or SAT, you could send it. If not, you don't have to send it, and it will not negatively impact you with respect to admission. There's also an essay and an application fee or a waiver. We have 11 different colleges and over 200 majors on our campus, and you get to choose 2 majors, a primary and a secondary when you apply. If we can't admit you to the first choice, we will look at you for the second choice immediately. Hopefully we can get you into that program to start with us as a freshman. These are all of our colleges. I show you this because we do direct admission at Purdue. Direct admission means if you are admitted to engineering, you're in engineering. If you're admitted to management, you're in management. The only one that's a little bit different is the program called Exploratory Studies. That is for our undecided or still deciding students who want a little bit more time to make that critical decision. Now I'm going to end with this. What do we look at? Well, everything. Everything that makes you you is important to us. So we look at your high school coursework. We take a lot more attention on your grades, strength of curriculum, relevant coursework, and academic trends than your GPA. Candidly, the GPA does not matter in the admissions process because all of your schools have different GPA systems. But typically an A or a B is a good thing. Typically taking rigorous courses is a good thing. So we will use that information to help us make the best decision possible. Extracurricular activities, be involved, do stuff, have fun, but make sure you have good time management so that doesn't affect your grades. Your essay is really important. We want to know who you are. We don't require recommendations, but if you have a couple, send them to us. The time of year you apply is also incredibly important. August 1st is when the application will be available. November 1st is our early action deadline. So if we're in your top 100 list of colleges, make sure you apply by then so you're considered for all of our scholarships and the Honors College, as well as getting your decision on the first release date, which will be January 15th. If you get your decision on January 15th and a scholarship, you have all the way until May 1st to make your final decision if you want to attend Purdue University or not. And if you wait until the very last hour, we give you a few more days to sign your housing contract to guarantee you get on campus housing. I think I'm right at time, so I'm going to go ahead and slow down and stop talking and stop sharing my screen. Thank you guys so much. I'll be in the chat to answer your questions.
Thank you, Purdue University, for that great presentation. Up next, we have Eastern Illinois University.
Thank you so much, Clarissa. And students, I'm going to say something that you guys have probably heard 17 million times. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. All right. So let me introduce myself. My name is Omar Akil Solomon. I am a freshman admissions counselor here at Eastern Illinois University. I'm also a proud alum. I graduated from EIU in 2009 with a degree in communication studies, and I've been working at EIU for over a decade. So I like to tell students I had hair when I started many, many moons ago. And I'm so excited to talk to each and every one of you about EIU. I don't have too much time, so I want to go ahead and get started. A little bit about Eastern, who we are, where we are. We're located in Charleston, Illinois. We're one of the 12 public comprehensive state universities. Where is Charleston, you may ask? That is in the East Central region part of our state. So that's about 3 hours from the Chicagoland area. We're about roughly 45 minutes south of Champaign-Urbana. We're also 2.5 hours from Indianapolis and also St. Louis. So we're right in the middle of 3 major metropolitan cities. So we like to say we're not too far away. Your parents can visit, but are also not too far. We're also close enough that if you want to go home for a weekend and wash clothes and things of that nature, you can definitely take advantage of that. Consistently ranked by various news reports and things of that nature. One thing I always talk about EIU is not only are we accessible for our students, we're affordable, which I'll talk about in just a second, but the atmosphere is definitely second to none. I compare it to High School Musical students because we're all in this together here at EIU. We are truly sized for success. We bop to the top because we're breaking free because you are the music of me if I want to keep on going. Over 90 plus majors to choose from and 90 different minors. Were originally founded as an education school, the second largest producers of teachers in the state of Illinois. But that's not our only major. Students love to major in business, so if it's management or finance. We also have a school of nursing. There's sports management, psychology, communication studies, communication disorder sciences. So there's a plethora of opportunities for our students to take that next step. With a 17 to 18 average classroom size, you're going to get a lot of personal attention here at EIU. We're just under 10,000 students, so we are a medium-sized university. Not too big, not too small. You'll have that relationship for 4 to 4.5 years with your faculty members. So when you're looking for references before you move on to either that graduate school or that entry-level profession, you're going to have a great relationship with the professors. And the numbers are doing great right now. We've had our third consecutive year of enrollment growth, and I think that just shows about the momentum on our campus with the atmosphere, with the size. Even throughout this pandemic, we could try our best to make sure that not only is our campus community safe, but also our students and our faculty members are going to be safe at the same time. So we're super excited about the growth that's happening at EIU, and we can't wait to see more in the future as well. I touched on this just a little bit, but more so, I really want to stress about the academic experience here at EIU. Our classes are taught by faculty members. Close to 99% of our classes are taught by full-time or part-time faculty members, so not graduate assistants. 94% have fewer than 40 students. So once again, emphasis on actually knowing your professor. All right, and we're going to make that investment. Close to 90% of our students are getting jobs after graduate school within 5 to 6 months. Okay. And if you're undecided if the shoulder strokes your major, don't worry. That was my major back in the day too. We're here to help you with career services. There's a writing center on campus. There's office hours for all our faculty to really help you drive that car to reach that finish line. There's internship opportunities. We have students that have worked for the Los Angeles Lakers, students that's worked for junior bankers on Wall Street, various hospitals, you name it. So you can definitely start near and go far here at our university. And there's so much to do. I talked about the atmosphere. We're a Division I university. We're actually one of the only schools in the country for football wise, I can say we have an NFL GM, Ryan Pace of the Bears, a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, and an announcer, if you want to count Tony Romo. Oh, and a coach, Sean Payton. We can brush our shoulders off. All EIU alums. All the athletic events are free to get into. It's paid for in your student fees. Over 200 plus student organizations. So we might not be able to pet a dog, but you can ride a broom. We do have a Quidditch club with our Harry Potter club, so you can have some fun with that too if you want to go ahead and learn how to fly here at the university. So we have a rec center, study abroad programs. Hopefully, once we return to a new normal, we'll be able to get back with that as well. And I really want to, I'll touch more of that in a little bit. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll also leave my information. But real quick, I really want to just go over how affordable we are at the university. Tuition is locked in for 4 consecutive years. And you see on that second line, we rent our textbooks. All your textbooks are just under $300 here at EIU, $9.95 a credit hour. So our overall total cost is just in that $22,000 range. And if you're looking for scholarships, we're a test optional school. So we're test optional both for scholarships, but also if you do report the SAT, there's scholarship opportunities as well. Our honor scholarships can be up to a full ride. This grid is changing just a little bit going for the next cycle. It's probably going to start at around a 3.0 for the test optional scholarships. So be on the lookout for that here at EIU. In terms of the next step, our application is open actually for the fall of 2022. So you can actually submit that application. It is free. So don't worry about that $30 application fee and just send it in your official transcripts. Depending on what your GPA is, we love to see letters of recommendation. We love to see personal statements. They really help put a face on that application. So there's so many opportunities to discover EIU and learn more about us. And I can't wait to talk to you more if you guys have any questions afterwards. Once again, my name is Omar Kill Solomon, and I'm going to turn it over to our next presenter.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Omar. My name is Nadia Flores. I'm here representing Knox College, and I am going to also, in addition to sharing my screen, I'm going to share a quick link in the chat for you. If you're interested in registering after tonight and want to keep in touch with me, I'm also here on behalf of Devon Euros, who is our Director of Admissions, and he too is a recruiter for the Chicagoland area. So please feel free to keep in touch with both of us. My contact information is here. And as you can see, this is a beautiful picture of Alumni Hall. We are located 3 hours west from Chicago. We actually also have an Amtrak station that is less than a 10-minute walk, 2-minute drive from the campus. So if you do look to ever travel into Galesburg, please do so by choosing Amtrak. We're really hoping that things go back to normal as we kind of slowly crawl into post-pandemic mode. We would love to see you there. As future applicants, maybe some of you are rising juniors. Just to know that once everything does go back to normal, you are welcomed onto campus to hopefully spend the night and shadow students for a day. However, at this moment, we are only accepting students and families to visit the campus for tour and a presentation, being on campus for a few hours. So we are excited to have you there, good and ready. If you still don't feel comfortable visiting campus and you want to do something more virtual, we are definitely available for you. Just let us know by, again, registering in that link in the chat or reaching out to me after today at njflores@knox.edu. As you can see, our campus is pretty much the epitome of what a small college campus is in the liberal arts and sciences area. We are also part of the NCAA Division III teams. Our students compete with the Midwestern Conference. Our student athletes are students first, who are never benched and are always going to feel the Knox Prairie Fire to get ready to play and just be those student athletes that they were born to be. We also have hundreds of organizations on campus. And I do want to highlight one thing about this is that almost every single organization on campus will have some sort of mentorship program, which is for me extremely important because all of our students who are coming into a university, into a new town, onto a campus that is very foreign to them, they need that extra helping hand. So one of the great things for you to do is to join an organization, join a club, be a part of a sport, and just continue to have that mentorship that's going to help you to retain, stay at Knox, and graduate from Knox. If you do want to learn more about an organization and you want to speak to a student, please let me know. I'm always happy to connect you with a student. You can speak over the phone or do some sort of virtual video conference, etc. As you can see, our percentages are really strong. We are one of the most diverse campuses within the United States, with over 50% of our student body coming from a different country, practicing and celebrating different cultures, different ethnicities. I personally am very proud of seeing that when you visit our campus, when you stay at our campus, when you attend our campus, you're going to be surrounded by different ways of thinking, different celebrations, different foods. And that really is the way to be within just life. When it comes to all of our majors and minors, I will be touching base on that. Anything specific I would like to hold until the Q&A. However, I'm always available and willing to speak to you over the phone, as well as Devon. I will be talking a little bit about a unique program known as Immersion Terms, and of course, the Power of Experience grant, which is very unique only to Knox. So we are a small liberal arts and science school, which means that we do offer a bachelor's both in arts and science, but we do also offer you opportunities to partner with institutions outside of Knox to either gain a second bachelor's degree with some of our 3-2 programs, or if you would like to pursue a future master's and our PhD. But as you can see here, we have a variety of different majors, and I'll mention the most popular. And popularity for almost every institution that I know of changes every single year. It depends on how many students enrolled the previous year. So at Knox, we do have a trend that seems to be ongoing. When it comes to our biology, we are very strong, we're very popular, especially because of our pre-med program. When it comes to our business and management, that has stayed strong, especially because of our economics program. Our computer science is another popular program, as well as creative writing. With creative writing in almost every single major that you see here, our students get to publish at the undergraduate level, which means that your resume is going to be very lengthy by the time you graduate from Knox. Last but not least, our environmental studies has been very popular, which has allowed us to continue to keep strong environmental science. And I spoke too soon as in regards to, last but not least, our psychology program is our largest department on campus and continues to be one of the most popular as well. These are the different types of programs that our students have been able to participate in and study, not only locally, but also across the country. Now, when it comes to some of our pre-professional programs, that is what I was referring to, that if you want to pursue something beyond a bachelor's or maybe 2 bachelor's degrees, we do have partnerships. Our engineering program is a 3-2 program, which means that you will gain 3 years at Knox, 2 at one of our partnering institutions. Our medicine program is with George Washington University in DC. That is an automatic admission program to their School of Medicine. Our nursing is with Rush University. All of these programs are located at knox.edu. Just type in the words pre-professional and you will be able to find everything in detail. Now, on the right-hand side, you're going to see other programs. And one in particular that I do want to talk about is going to be our mentorship programs when it comes to TRIO, when it comes to McNair Scholars. For many of our students who are first generation or low income, or they may have some sort of disability that is documented, or all three, we have very strong TRIO programs. And just a little bit of a tidbit on TRIO. TRIO has an extremely high graduation rate when it comes to college. So for whichever university or college of your choice will be after today, please try and consider a TRIO program. They are really successful across the board and across the country. And immersion terms, just quickly, you're basically getting your hands dirty when it comes to Knox College. We are on an academic calendar that has to do with trimesters, which means that you are going to be in school for 3 separate terms. Each term is 10 weeks long, and within each term, you take 3 college courses. When you immerse yourself in these immersion terms, you will be limited in the number of courses that you take for the term, and you will be experiencing more hands-on experiences. Lastly, the Power of Experience grant. We will provide our students additional money to help them fund any of these that you see here. And I believe I've run out of time, which is okay because we're open for the Q&A, but after today, please feel free to reach out to me. We do have a lot of great traditions for you, a lot of great success stories and accolades that I would love to share with you virtually or in person. And once again, I look forward to speaking to you throughout the Q&A or after today. Thank you. I'll stop sharing my screen now and move it on to Madison.
Thank you very much, Knox College. I just want to send a quick reminder to everybody that if you do have questions, like Nadia mentioned, definitely drop those into the Q&A down below.
Perfect. Let me get this up and going. Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Hollenbeck. I'm an Associate Director of Admission at Whitman College. I use she, her pronouns. I appreciate you all taking time to be here today. A little bit different than my peers. A big piece of who we are is where we're located, and we are located in Walla Walla, Washington, which is in the southeastern corner of Washington state. So definitely a little bit farther away from home. But we like to joke that Walla Walla is the only town so nice they named it twice. A big part of who we are, so it's located in we are located in a smaller town, which is a town of about 32,000 people. And that's a big part of our identity. Going to school in a smaller community means that our students are really in this tight-knit community. 92% of our students come from more than 200 miles away to come to Whitman College. And so what that means, even as you're moving further away from home for you all, it means that all your peers are doing the same thing. But one of my favorite parts about Whitman and Walla Walla is the fact that we see over 200 days of sunshine a year. And so we are able to be outside, to explore a lot, have a lot of really great natural scenery around us, which really allows our students to engage in the location and get off of campus and really make impacts. So Whitman is a very traditional liberal arts school. We're a student body of about 1,500 students. Average class size is around 17, student professor ratio is 9:1, and we're a solely undergrad campus. We have no graduate programs, no teaching assistants or graduate assistants on campus, and so that really allows our students to engage with their professors and have those individual conversations and really build relationships. It really kind of finds its way outside of the classroom as well, in the fact that you will probably run into your professors walking their dogs, in a coffee shop, at dinner with their children. And so it really starts humanizing our professors a lot quicker as well. And so you get to know them on a personal level and not just on a professional and student teacher relationship. And so that really allows that access and conversations. And so if you're looking for a college where you can get to know your professors and the other students in your class, you can't really ask for a better place than Whitman. We are like I said, traditional liberal arts school. And so almost all of our students will come in undeclared. We actually don't let you declare a major within your first semester on campus. Most students just do it by the end of their sophomore year. And oftentimes we talk about majors as more of a thread that connects all the different classes that you're taking versus the one thing that you're focusing on while you're on campus. At the root of a Whitman education, we're focused on collaboration. It's more of an environment where students are working together, having conversations in and outside the classroom, than having this kind of competitive environment that I think has become so kind of a trend within kind of the high school environment. And so we really focus on students lifting each other up, supporting one another, and making sure that we're all getting success and are working together to learn and engage in our coursework. We see about a third of our students do fine arts or humanities, a third of our students do social sciences, and a third of our students do kind of the harder natural sciences. And so we're really well spread throughout all the different divisions on campus, which really allows a really well-rounded campus community to exist. In talking about student life, being that we are a residential college, so we do require students to live on campus for at least the first 2 years. Most of our juniors and seniors do move off campus after that, but if you're more than a 10-minute walk away from campus, you're like way too far, students won't come and visit you. So even as you're moving off campus, you're still pretty much on campus, and a lot of other colleges would kind of consider that on-campus living. But being residential, it means that you work, live, breathe everything right on our campus as part of our campus community. We have over 120 student-run organizations running from about 80% of our students will do intramural sports. I oftentimes joke that it's the only time students are competitive on campus besides our varsity athletes, which are very competitive, but intramural sports, we do over 6 main stage performances a year within the theater department. We have a really robust outdoor program. So say you want to get outside and, like I said, from the very beginning, enjoy kind of our natural scenery. We offer over 65 trips a school year. And we actually give students $150 to put towards those trips. So we're basically paying you to get outside and enjoy the beautiful Pacific Northwest, which I don't know how you can say no to, but I'm really biased about it. But a big also part of campus is definitely that community engagement and getting off of campus and doing volunteer work. Over 75% of our students will do volunteering every single year, ranging from mentoring students at a local elementary school to working at the SOS clinic, which helps individuals that are underinsured within the Walla Walla community, maybe working hand in hand with the Walla Walla mayor to create a community or neighborhood engagement program. But we're making sure students are getting off of campus. And I always tell my students that at Whitman, you're not only just a student at Whitman College, you're also a citizen of Walla Walla. And I do think that is distinctive to going to school in a smaller community, because you're going to make that lasting impact even past the time that you're on campus and after you graduate. Speaking of graduation, we are really proud of how we place students after they are on campus. Our job as an institution isn't just to teach you for your 4 years, it's to make sure that you're prepared for that 1st, 5th, 10th, whatever job after you graduate from Whitman. About 92% of students within the first 6 months after graduation either have a job or in graduate school. In addition, about 60% of our students within 5 years will go back to graduate school as well. In talking kind of about next steps, Whitman is a Common App school, and so that kind of helps streamline a lot of the kind of mundane details that you'll kind of enter for a lot of different applications. We require, in addition to kind of that main Common App application, 1 teacher recommendation and 1 counselor recommendation. As well as we are offering interviews. They're recommended but not required part of the application process. And we are a test optional school. We have been test optional for over 6+ years at this point in time, and we've kind of removed it from both the admission and also the financial aid process. So whether you include test scores or not, you are able to whether you include test scores or not, you have the same opportunities to be admitted or receive merit scholarships. And so you see all the details there. I definitely recommend checking out the early financial aid guarantee Whitman offers, where we'll basically give you your full financial aid package before you even have to submit your application to Whitman. But I am out of time. And so if there's any additional questions or things I can help with at any point, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Our final institution for this session is University of Illinois, Chicago.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. My name is Selena Hernandez. I'm an admissions counselor with UIC. I think everybody can see my screen now. So thank you again for joining tonight. I do also want to share that not only am I an admissions counselor, but I also graduated from UIC myself. So I am from the city of Chicago, and I did attend UIC, and I decided to come back to work for UIC because I believed in all the great work that the university does. So UIC is located right in the center of the city of Chicago. So we are nestled between our north, south, and west sides and our downtown loop area. Our main campus, where our undergraduate students spend a majority of their time, is our East Campus. This is where you'll have your classes, you'll have the quad, the main rec center, library, where professors have their offices. Being in a city like Chicago, we have a lot of connections with outside organizations to help you either get internships or job opportunities during your time as a student. Because we are located right in the center of the city, students have access to commuting easily around the city. Maybe you're scheduling your classes in the morning, have an internship in the afternoon. You won't have to take too much time in that commute to access these resources. Also, being a student at UIC, you get something called a U-Pass, which is essentially a venture card that allows you to access the CTA buses and trains during the school year, unlimited number of times for free. So you can just tap and go either to get to class, to get home, or just to explore the different Chicago neighborhoods surrounding the UIC campus. Many of our programs that are offered at UIC are direct entry programs. While we do offer graduate level programs and professional schools, such as our School of Medicine, Dentistry, Pharmacy, Law School, etc., programs that students can apply to from high school are our direct entry programs listed here. So these are the colleges that offer majors that you can directly apply into. If you have specific questions on any majors, feel free to use the Q&A portion and I'm happy to help. But just so you know, these are the colleges that offer these direct entry majors. Our largest college I do want to highlight is the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences because it has majors from economics, Black studies, Latino studies, sociology, chemistry, biochemistry, and it also has a major of undeclared or undecided. So if you have a lot of different interests and you're not able to narrow it down into one specific major, you're not required to have a major when applying to UIC and can definitely apply as undeclared or undecided, which is actually how I applied to UIC. Something that's unique about our university is that we are a Research 1 institution, meaning that the professors you are learning from in the classroom are producing journal articles and books on the material you're learning about. You're really learning from experts in the field. But how is this relevant for you all? You all as undergraduate students also have the opportunity to participate in undergraduate research. Maybe you have a specific question that you want to investigate in your major and you want to create your own research project. Maybe you want to work with a professor on a project that you think is fascinating and you want to learn more about what they're studying. Or you wish to connect with other students from different majors and have a joint project together. At UIC, all those opportunities are possible through our research initiatives. What's even better is that many of these research opportunities, you can receive either class credit or you can even get paid during your time at UIC participating in research, which can essentially serve as your on-campus job. At UIC, we're also really proud of our diverse student body. Not only are we wanting to enroll students from diverse backgrounds, whether that be diverse ethnic and cultural backgrounds, religious backgrounds, geographical backgrounds, we also want students to be supported during their time at UIC. For that reason, we have many academic support programs that offer resources such as tutoring, mentorship, advising to make sure that students have a well-rounded experience and support at UIC, a community that they can call a home away from home, and receive the support they need to be successful in whichever way they define success. Some of these organizations include the Native American Support Program, Asian American Resource and Cultural Center, Arab American Cultural Center, Latino Cultural Center, African American Academic Network, Disability Resource and Disability Cultural Center. The list goes on. These resources are available for all students to access because we want students to have all the support they need and however they identify. Now moving on to the application process. To apply to UIC, we do use the common application. You are required to submit your transcripts. There is an application fee, but this can also be waived by talking to your high school counselor. And UIC is going to be test optional, I believe, up until 2024. So if you are going to be applying to UIC during that time, know that test scores are not going to be required. You're welcome to submit them, but there is no penalty if you decide not to submit those scores. Of course, other things are going to be super important, including your letters of recommendation if you choose to submit, personal statement, just so we get to know more of who you are as a student and as a person on our campus. Tuition at UIC for in-state students is about $13,000 to $14,000 annually. This is for any student, if you graduate from an Illinois high school, whether you're an Illinois resident, DACA, or undocumented. This again is before any scholarships or grants that you receive. So essentially this cost of attendance annually will go down. Students at UIC are not required to live in campus housing at any point in time. So if you do choose to live in campus housing, this would be an additional cost. To apply for financial aid, there's a few different options. Of course, if you are eligible to apply for FAFSA, we highly recommend applying for FAFSA as soon as the application opens. For our Illinois residents that are maybe not eligible for FAFSA, you may be eligible to apply for financial aid through the Illinois RISE Act application. They both follow the same timeline, opening October 1, and we encourage students to apply as soon as possible. And of course, when you apply to UIC, you will be considered for scholarships based off of your application that you submit. One thing that we do recommend is students applying for early action, so you can be that first pool that we consider for these scholarships. And lastly, I know we have some time right now for questions, but if you wish to connect with UIC further on the application process, visiting campus as we begin to open campus this fall, please don't hesitate to connect with us either via email at admissions@uic.edu. That's going to connect you to your assigned admissions counselor. And then our Discover UIC page is going to have all of the upcoming visiting opportunities, virtual and in person. So thank you all for your time today, and I'm happy to answer any questions in the Q&A.
Thank you so much for your presentation. We do have a few minutes left, so presenters, I'm going to have you guys answer a couple questions for us, and our participants definitely keep sending those questions to the Q&A. We're still here to answer them for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So let me share my screen. So we're going to be answering, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go in presentation order. So I'm going to turn it over to Purdue University.
Yeah, that's a great question. My only advice would be two quick things, and I know there's a lot of knowledge on this panel, so I won't say everything, but 2 things that I think are really good. And one, start a calendar, whether it be on your phone or a little, if you like want to write it down, just put all those important dates. Some of us have November 1 deadlines, some could have later deadlines, some could have earlier deadlines, and that could be the difference between being considered for a scholarship or not. And the second one, it seems funny or even strange to think about this, but make a separate email address for all this admissions stuff. If you send us like Starship Trooper Cheerleader 47, like that's just not as professional as like, you know, Omar's going to college at gmail.com, like something like that. And it also gets your college stuff out of the clutter of all the other, you know, Instagram, TikTok, you know, bookstores, Amazon, all that other stuff. So those are my 2. Make a calendar and write down important dates, and make a professional email.
I would say number one, make a TikTok. Let me stop. No, I think the number one piece of advice I would give someone going through the college process, I'll give one real quick. Find a day out the week. I like to recommend Sundays for students, maybe Sunday after dinner, whenever you eat, whenever you get off work, and just clock out or block out an hour or an hour and a half every Sunday and use that time for your college research. So for example, that first Sunday, it could be this Sunday, it could be the list of schools that you're thinking about. And then that next Sunday, you can do more further research into said schools. Does each school have your specific major that you're looking for? You know, what is the distance of these schools? What are the scholarship opportunities? So using that Sunday approach, one Sunday, I'm going to apply to these schools. The next Sunday, I'm going to schedule visits, things of that nature. So, you know, for that entire week, you have that, I mean, that Sunday's coming up. Not only are your parents or your guardians, they're going to know like, hey, you are on top of things. They're not going to be all up in your business or in your face, asking all those questions, you know. So I think finding that time to go throughout that process, and then also staying in contact with everyone that you see on the screen and all the colleges that you're thinking about. We want to help you 24/7. As you see, we're here at 7:30, sometimes 8:30, depending on where you're from at night, you know, coming to talk to you guys because we love working with you guys and helping you throughout that transition. So definitely staying in contact and then finding a day out the week.
Yes, thank you, Omar. And I'm going to second on that. Be assertive, be proactive, utilize us. I usually tell my students, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the other panelists, but abuse my services in regards to what do you need to know? How can I make this easier for you? How can I make this a process that's going to be pleasant for your relationship with your parents? Because this is going to be a roller coaster ride. Sometimes it's going to be up and down for mom and dad. For you, it's going to be very, 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 very high until you get to that point of having to make that decision. And for some of us, it may go low, but just know that the more information you have, the better for you to make better choices. On the topic of parents, please involve them. I have so many of my students that just do not want to involve mom and dad for so many reasons, but just bring them along little by little, slowly letting them know pieces of information here and there. Maybe don't overwhelm them. Maybe you're thinking, hey, they don't need more stress, or maybe you're thinking, hey, the less they know, the more, you know, I can get away with. Please, at the end of the day, this is a family decision, and you will be really surprised if they basically say no to your number one school and you're going to have to abide by their rules. So we want to make this pleasant for all of you. So let's make it into a family affair and take advantage of our services. And please invite mom and dad to be a part of this.
Yeah, everyone has such good advice. I'm like trying to think of like what else to say, but I think one of the biggest things I always recommend, especially over the summer, is I think similar is like to keeping a spreadsheet of all the different deadlines, is also keep like a running list of all the activities and extracurriculars you're involved in, like on your phone, a list of topics of essays, as so that when you actually sit down and try to start writing your essay, that you have some ideas to kind of build off of. We all know we're all kind of attached to our phones most of the time anyways, and so just kind of keep a running list as you think of things. In a note or anything like that. And then I always recommend, I mean, obviously I'm a little bit biased, I'm a little farther away from everyone else, but like branch out. College is a really good time to try something completely new. And even if you, or even as you're just looking at colleges, look at colleges that are a little bit further away and just, or close to you or whatever it is, but try a bunch of different schools. If you're able to visit some schools even directly around you, there's even just within kind of the Chicago area, there's so many different types of schools, as you all see in these presentations. Get on campus and see what you kind of like and what feels right to you, because that'll kind of start narrowing down the colleges that you want to look at once you kind of get an idea for what you're really looking for out of an institution.
And then kind of echoing a lot of what has already been said, along with maybe the technical side, emails, not only creating a professional email, but checking that email consistently, because you will be receiving a lot of information, and some of that may be important notifications from the schools that you're applying to, from financial aid. You want to keep up to date because sometimes there are deadlines and you want to make sure that all that is set in order. And then lastly, checking what kind of support services all the schools that you're considering offer, because that does make a difference in your experience. Once you're enrolled, do they have the major that you're interested in? Yes, but also what kind of support are you going to be receiving, you know, in your personal life, in your professional area of interest? A lot of that is going to make a difference in your holistic college experience. Thank you all again for your time.
Thank you everyone for those wonderful pieces of advice. We have come to the end of our presentation time, so I'm going to start wrapping us out. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide to us. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording at the same site where you registered. Again, thank you for joining us and have a great evening.